Why is Iran always a global political hotspot? Why does Iran appear in the news so often? Why do tensions involving Iran seem to ripple across the entire world? To understand this, we need to look beyond headlines and explosions and dive into history, geography, ideology, and power. 1. A revolution that changed everything. In 1979, Iran experienced one of the most influential political events of the modern era, the Islamic Revolution. Before that, Iran was closely aligned with the West, especially the United States. After the revolution, Iran transformed into an Islamic republic, governed by religious leadership rather than a Western-style political system. This single shift reshaped Iran's relationship with the world, turning former allies into long-term rivals. From that moment on, Iran stopped playing by the rules written in Washington or Europe. Instead, it chose its own path, and that made global powers deeply uncomfortable. 2. Iran's strategic location, geography as power. Iran sits at one of the most critical crossroads on Earth, the Middle East. It borders major regions, Central Asia, South Asia, and the Arab world. But its most powerful geographic asset is the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow waterway carries around 20% of the world's oil supply every single day. If shipping through this strait is disrupted, oil prices spike, and global economies feel it almost instantly. That means Iran doesn't just matter regionally, it has leverage over the global energy system. 3. Oil, sanctions, and economic pressure. Iran holds one of the largest oil and natural gas reserves in the world. Yet, due to international sanctions, much of this wealth is locked away. Sanctions limit Iran's ability to sell oil, access international banking, and trade freely. In response, Iran has learned to survive under pressure, developing domestic industries and alternative trade routes. This economic isolation doesn't weaken Iran politically. Instead, it often hardens its stance and fuels resistance against Western influence. 4. A web of regional influence. Iran doesn't project power only through its own military. Instead, it supports and influences groups across the region, in Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and Yemen. This strategy allows Iran to extend its reach without direct confrontation. For countries like Israel and Saudi Arabia, this makes Iran a constant security concern. Rather than a single battlefield, Iran operates in a network of pressure points across the Middle East. 5. The nuclear question. One of the most controversial issues surrounding Iran is its nuclear program. Iran insists its nuclear activities are for peaceful energy and scientific research. Many other nations fear the technology could be used to develop nuclear weapons. This disagreement has led to international deals, withdrawals, inspections, and renewed tensions, again and again. Whether or not Iran ever builds a nuclear weapon, the possibility alone reshapes global diplomacy. 6. Identity, independence, and ideology. At its core, Iran's role as a global hotspot isn't just about weapons or oil. It's about identity. Iran positions itself as a nation that resists domination, rejects foreign control, and challenges Western-led global order. This narrative resonates with some countries and alarms others. Iran is not trying to blend in to the existing system. It is trying to reshape it. Final thought. So why is Iran always a global political hotspot? Because it sits at the intersection of history, energy, religion, power, and resistance. Because its decisions affect oil prices, regional stability, and global security. And because it represents a challenge to how the modern world is organized. Understanding Iran doesn't mean agreeing with it, but without understanding it, we can't understand global politics at all. And in a world this interconnected, what happens in Iran never stays in Iran.